Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Well, thank you.
Good.
Good to see you again.
Same to you as well. And how was the teaching today so far? I know you've had a busy day.
Melissa, yes. Today's been hectic. In actual fact, they're always hectic. Every day is hectic. It just depends on the depth of hecticness. But we managed to survive the day and get through it.
I'm glad. Mark, can you just share with us, just from the beginning, I know we had a live, I think it was in August, and we shared a little bit about how, the process was going. You had just started with Preply and you had applied for so many companies. Can you just tell me how the beginning started and how it's going so far?
Melissa, yes. GCR, that's time flies. I think we had our last chat together. I think probably end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to refresh everybody's mind, my career with Preply started, to be honest with you, exactly in the beginning of June. And just for those that don't know, I mean, I got onto the online teaching purely by accident. Somebody mentioned to me just like in a sentence, by the way, Mark, why don't you try online teaching? Because we were all sitting at home during coronavirus and we had nothing to do. So it was mentioned, try online teaching. And I think I mentioned it in my last chat with you. I honestly said, what an absurd suggestion. I mean, really, being a teacher online made no sense.
Exactly.
But we went with the route. What do we have to lose? We're all sitting at home doing nothing. So I obviously applied through Premier TEFL, and I did my 120 hours. And I just added to that, I did a 30-hour business English, and I added an extra 30-hour online as well. So we started with that, Melissa, and then obviously, one has to go through the whole process of applying to different schools. And to be honest with you, Preply were the first ones who came back with an answer and accepted me. And that happened sort of, to be honest with you, like I think literally in the first week of June.
Yes.
So that's when I started teaching and my profile became visible. So give it the first 5 days of June, I was on the Preply website. My profile was visible. Everything was there. And to be honest with you, the first 2 weeks, I think absolutely nothing happened.
Okay.
So one started thinking, okay, what's going to happen? And okay, so then all of a sudden I sort of got 3 trial lessons towards the end of, in the last 2 weeks of June. I got 2 or 3 trial lessons, which led to, I think I managed to get 2 students or 2 or 3 students in my first month, between I'd started and between I'd ended and that. So, one sort of tends to think, okay, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work for me. So you get a little bit demotivated.
Yes.
And then, Melissa, I think this is a big secret that a lot of people don't realize. It's not just as easy as putting your profile on the page or whatever school you're teaching with and sitting back and think things are going to happen.
Yes.
And that's what I did initially. I set up my profile. There it was, and I sat back and I was waiting for students to book lessons,
Yes.
And I don't know if other schools work the same, but Preply give you a percentage of what your profile score is. So when I first put my profile up, it was 75%. And I wasn't happy with that. I wanted a profile of 100%. So this is where you actually need to put in the hard work. You need to make sure that your profile is 100%. Make sure that your introduction video is really good. Make sure that your written introduction is really good. So in the second month of being with Preply, that's what I really focused on. I thought, let me get my profile to 100%. So, I literally changed my introduction video like 4 times. I did the whole, and eventually I came up with what I thought was good enough. So I got my profile to 95%.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the month of July.
Mm-hmm.
And Melissa, then things started changing. You know, I started finding more and more students were booking. Things were becoming a bit regular. So we're now only into the second month of things. So in my second month, to be totally honest with you, in my second month, I had a total of 19 hours. Look, my lessons are an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
So in my second month, I had 19 hours of teaching in my second month. So
that's pretty good. That's pretty good for some.
Absolutely. You know, it was a big improvement from 3 hours of trial lessons the month before. So we got to 19 hours in month 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty good. You know, and I think it was a good pace. Teaching was totally new to me. So had it grown any faster, I might have got myself into a bit of trouble, because obviously with TEFL, you got to do your own classwork, you got to do your own prep work and stuff like that.
Yes.
But once again, I'm getting back to the story, and I'm going to harp on it because I really think this is vital. I wasn't happy with my 95% profile score.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it to 100. So we did, while we were still, you know, getting new students in, I still worked on my profile. I still worked on, I wanted to get it to 100%. So I changed my video again, maybe 2 or 3 times. I worked on my written description. And eventually we got it to 100% score on my profile on TEFL. And Melissa, I think this...
Which month was it that you got it onto 100% mark, if you don't mind me asking?
This was, okay, we're talking this way, okay, this way we said June, July. So this was probably towards the end of July.
Okay.
End of July, my profile was then at 100%. Okay. So, Melissa, then once my thing was at 100%, just the algorithms would probably work that obviously if your profile's at 100%, you tend to rank higher in the search pages.
Okay.
So, which is a very interesting point for everybody that's watching to take note of, that the higher your profile score is, the higher you rank in the search engine on whatever platform you're teaching on. And that's what you want, you know. So once that had become 100%, I really found my bookings really started to increase.
Yes.
So just to not to harp on it too long, but I mean, from the end of July, okay, then it just sort of like a wildfire. So at the end of June, I think I had about 8 or 9 students, regular students. Okay, so let's jump forward now to the current month where we're in now. So, going from the end of end of July to now heading towards the end of October. I am currently now sitting with 26 active students, and up until the end of today, I have for this month done 121 hours of teaching for the month of October. So
wow,
that just shows
amazing.
you, how phenomenal the growth has been. And to add to that, I currently have 256 hours of book classes that I still have to do. So I literally have classes up until the end of December, and that's working 6 days a week.
And that just shows how the profile is so important, because I mean, I know I have seen that there are so many people trying to get onto the platform. I think you've seen how many students are applying to, or teachers are applying to the platform. I think you can give me a rough estimate how many are coming at the moment, or roughly like 3,000 or something like that.
But it's absolutely, and people need to realize that, you know, online teaching has really exploded. We obviously know, COVID has played a massive role in this. But just to give you a rough example.
I have one question here. Someone just actually asked about the pandemic here. It says, how this pandemic changed your perspective on teaching online? Could you give me a little bit insight on that? From King Kong has asked that question.
Okay. Melissa, okay. To answer that question, look, I'm fortunate enough to have the group of students that I do have, and at the moment. So on a daily basis, I sort of get together, because COVID gets spoken in just about every lesson. It's sort of like the topic of the day. So one tends to start the conversation or the lesson with all my students with sort of, what is the update with your country? Because Melissa, I actually have students at the moment that have coronavirus, sadly. Gracefully, none of them are in hospital. They have mild symptoms. However, they are infected. Yes. So, globally, the second wave, listening to my students, globally, the second wave seems to be even more violent or spreading faster than the first wave. So, the amount of teachers going online has now even increased.
Yes, yes.
When I started with TEFLer on the first, well, I just said in the first week of June, there were just over 9,000 English teachers. Okay, oh, wow. There are many more other teachers. There are many more other teachers, but I'm just talking teachers that teach English now. Okay, so on TEFLer there were just over 9,000 in the beginning of June. Okay. Currently, we're just close on 13,000 teachers teaching English. So in a 4-month period, we've got 3,000 new tutors on the TEFLer platform.
Wow.
And I can tell you that that's probably because of the second wave of COVID hitting. Definitely. That number of people going onto online teaching or becoming online teachers is probably even going to, I would say, rapidly increase more than the 3,000 that we've gained now.
Yes.
So Melissa, yes, look, a lot of people have gone on to online teaching, but it's not a negative thing. And a lot of people are looking at this and they're not getting bookings. I know a lot of people, they've done their video, they've done the introduction, they've put themselves out on the platform, whatever school you're with, and you're not getting any bookings. And the only advice I can give people now, and this is what you have to do, you literally have to sell yourself. You've got to do it. You've got to make sure that whoever's watching your introduction video, you've got to catch them in the first 30 seconds of that video.
Definitely.
This is why I harped on the thing of getting your profile to 100%. So yes. If you're not going to catch that student with your video in the first 15 to 30 seconds, he's going to go to the next tutor. So you've got to work on selling yourself. If you're not getting students, don't let that put you off. Don't let it make you negative. You just need to start working on your selling yourself skills. So you got to put yourself out there. You got to make sure that when that student clicks the button, what he sees is something that sparks him off, or him or her, something that they like. So work on the profile. That's what I'm saying. Work on the profile. Make sure the video is like really exciting. Make sure that your written introduction is really catchy. A bit of humor always fine.
Be very different.
Be out of the box, Be noticeable. Because if you're just going to put your standard little video there and a little standard introduction and sit back and wait, the competition's out there, and there's a lot of students out there doing the same. So, Melissa, unfortunately, it does involve a little bit of hard work, but that hard work pays off, and it certainly paid off for me. To the extent that even TEFLer even said to me, Mark, stop changing your video. And I said to them, I'm not going to stop until I get a 100% profile score. Because that's what you want at the end of the day. You got to be persistent, and as I said, you got to make sure that your profile is catching. Because I'm on my platform, I'm up against 13,000 other people.
Definitely.
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So I need to make sure that whatever I do is a little bit out of the box and catches the person's attention.
Now, Mark, is Preply only for English tutors, or is it, because we have so many people around the world, maybe their English isn't so great, and maybe they would like to teach another language. Does Preply offer that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Listen, you can teach any language. You can teach any language you want on Preply, you know. And one thing with Preply, you don't even have to be a native English speaker if you want to teach English, for example. If you go through the Preply platform, you'll see there are a lot of people from the Philippines that are actually teaching English. They're not native English speakers, but they're English at a C1 or a C2 level. So you've got people from the Philippines, you've got people from Brazil, you've actually got people from Chile, people from Panama that are teaching English. They're not native English speakers, but their level of English is high enough. They've got their TEFL certificate. So besides the English, yes, Preply offers any language. Any language out there you'll be able to learn. You can find a teacher on Preply. So, you know, and the nice thing about that is if there are people out there that have a different, not a different language, but you know, I take my wife, for example, she's Danish. There are not many Danish teachers on Preply. So if there's anybody out there that can speak Danish, there's an opportunity now. I can tell you now, put your profile on Preply, tell them you can teach Danish, and I guarantee you, you'll get a vast amount of students. So there are, you know, if you're fortunate enough to have a niche language, yes, then Preply will definitely be able to be a great source of income for you.
And then just to ask, what students are booking with you from? Which country are you getting the most bookings from?
Jeez, Melissa, what a question. I mean, it's so difficult to say. You know, it's global. I've got teachers. I've got students from. Okay, let's start on the left. I've got students in South America. I've got students in Central America. I've got students in the USA. I've got students from the UK. I've got a student in the Netherlands, a student in India. We've got students in Ukraine. We've got students in Poland. We've got students in Russia. I've got students from Australia.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's in actual fact, okay. And obviously, I've got some students in China. So it's literally from all over the world. Absolutely. So there's absolutely no limit to, you know, the world is your oyster, as we said.
Definitely, definitely. And Mark, and do you think that, just by almost ending off here, do you think that you would see your, well, where you started, do you think that you see yourself how far you've come? You know, like, did you think that you were going to get this far with online teaching?
No chance. No chance. I would have, I don't have any money, but I would have put the bit of money I had and said probably, if I get 5 students in my lifetime, it would have been an absolute miracle. The fact that we've already done, like, yeah, that I've already taught over 200 hours since I started, and the fact that I've already got 253 lessons full. I'm sitting with 500 lessons done and some still to do over 3 months. I mean, no, I would never have thought that. I would never ever have thought that. So that a total surprise to me. But the great thing is, like you say, once you get into it and you start to learn the tricks and the little quirks of the trade, what, you know, one can certainly make yourself sort of more attractable for students. But it's to get out there, sell yourself, and then from there, you know, things will happen. Just put in the time. Yeah, even if you've got to send 100 emails and the company might get annoyed, get your profile to 100%.
And
That's
also,
where you want to be.
were you very picky with the times and schedule? Did you decide that you're going to work later, or how did you get to this point? Because it looks like you really put in the hours to make sure that you got your students as well.
Melissa, starting now, like I said to you, I mean, I'm up against 13,000 other teachers that are aiming at the same market that I'm aiming at. So when I started, I actually left my schedule open 24/7, 7 days a week. So, if there was a student that wanted a lesson from 12 to 1 in the morning, we'll say, yes, we had to do it. And that's how we started. I mean, I left my schedule open 7 days a week, 24 hours. And there were some mornings, yes, I had to teach at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. There were some evenings you had to stay up until 8, 9 o'clock. But, those are the students, Melissa, I found that actually stay with you, are the ones that see, wow, this guy's put in a bit of effort and, So, yes, I have obviously scaled down on my schedule now because I've had to. I'm so fortunate now that I've actually had to cut off my schedule because I don't have enough hours in the day for the students that I have. So now I have made I've had to shorten my day hour-wise, and obviously another thing is, Melissa, people need to realize you need some time off. In my first 2 months, I was teaching 7 days a week all the time. And first of all, you're going to burn out if you do that. You're just you're going to find this unenjoyable. Eventually, you're going to burn out. And secondly, the most important thing is there's no time for you to find new material and to get the stuff to make your classes exciting because you're spending all your time giving classes. So there's no opportunity to find new material and to work on yourself. So So once you've got a good base, yes, then take your calendar, your schedule, find out what works for you, but definitely make some time. You need some time off. Otherwise, I think you're going to burn out, but I think you're going to come across to your students as well that, you don't look as happy and as fresh as you should be at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you need to take that time off as well. Vital.
Definitely, definitely. Listen, Mark, thank you so much for your time as well. If there's any other tips you want to share with anyone, last little tip before we end off this live.
Melissa, as I said, I'll keep harping on it, but you know what? Those that are currently on platforms and have got no students, hang in there. Don't give up. Just work on that profile. Even if you need to change your video every 2 or 3 days, but just hang in there. Hang in there. It will happen. And as I said, sell yourself. You got to sell yourself. You got to become the salesperson now because
professionally.
Correct. You got to have a mindset that you're up against. I always keep the mindset I'm up against 13,000 other people. So, you got to be on top of your game. So, but never lose heart. Those people that haven't received students yet, don't give up. That's the big thing. Don't give up. They will come. Stay positive. Not positive in Corona, but stay positive in mental capability.
Listen, Mark, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you've had a long day as well. So I appreciate your time. And we hope to catch up in the next few months to see how busy you are and how your schedule's going.
Melissa, it's been a pleasure. Yes, let me know. The way things are going now, I might be in the Bahamas. Just let me know my schedule. We wish. Anyway, but it's been great.
Thanks very much. And to all those people that are watching out there as well, to King Kong as well for sending out messages and questions here. Thank you. And to Zuhol, Mark, he said that, I think it's a he or she, said it's a nice motto. So well done to you, Mark. And thank you to everyone for watching. Thanks, Mark. See you.
Good night. Bye. Bye. Bye.